Hey friends, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you are new, what's up? My name is TheShai, or welcome to the channel. So today we're gonna be doing a drugstore makeup tutorial. I just want to do a video where I can direct you guys to my favorite drugstore products, things that I use, and just recommendations. So it's on my channel. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. So I just moisturize my lips with some Vaseline, and yeah, let's get into it. So as you guys can see, my brows are done. Brows are like my weakest part of makeup, which is why I usually always do them before the video. But just to show you guys what I did use, this XX Fine brow pencil is absolutely my favorite brow pencil I've ever used. Literally my go-to. I use the shade Deep Brown. So to moisturize, I always use my Weleda. Honestly, just use any moisturizer that works for you. I really think it's important to moisturize your skin, even if you have more oily skin and you feel like it's too warm outside. Like, you just need to moisturize your skin, and because it's kind of warm outside today, I'm not going to use that much. So I'm just going to moisturize, make sure my skin is nice and moistured. Then I'm going to go in with my SPF. This is the one I always use, literally my only SPF I own. I have tried a few. I've tried the La Roche-Posay. It's quite expensive, and honestly this is the best one. This is the most affordable one I've used. So yeah, I'm gonna pop some of this on and then we'll go into some foundation. So now we're gonna go into primers. For drugstore, I only have a few primers. I haven't really bought any new primers from the drugstore because I feel like the best primers I've used are more high-end, but I'll just show you guys a few that I have. So I do have this NYX Hydrating Jelly Primer. Not my favorite, but it does work really well, and my makeup sticks and it holds with this. And then I have these two primers from MUA. You guys have seen me use this like probably a million times. This is my favorite one. This is the hydrating one. This is the matte one. I use this when maybe it's like really warm outside and I just need more of a matte look, or usually on my forehead, which tends to get a little bit oily more than the rest of my face. Today I'm actually going to mix the two just because it is kind of warm outside. Put some up here. Just want to moisturize that. You want to give it a minute between your layers for everything to sink in and set, because you don't want anything to like mix too much. So the only two drugstore affordable foundations in my collection are these two, and that says something because I feel like all I wear is NARS right now. So if these can hold up against, then you know they're good. So we're going to start with this NYX. This is the Born to Glow Naturally Radiant Foundation. This is amazing. Like, I feel like a lot of people sleep on this foundation. It's really good. Gives your skin a nice radiance, and the complexion is just chef's kiss. Like, the color is really good. Even some high-end brands, I feel like they struggle when it comes to the undertones. Sometimes the deeper it goes, the more red it goes, and not everyone that's dark skin has a red undertone, which is really annoying with these brands. But I feel like the drugstore seem to be getting it really good, because I feel like these two out of all my foundations are actually some of my best matches. You guys know I love my Morphe Filter Effect foundation. This one definitely shocks me because Morphe is not a brand that I look for or look to for complexion, but this actually is one of my best matches and one of my favorite like go-to kind of foundation. So yeah, this one I have the shade in Filter Deep 35, and my NYX Born to Glow, I have this in Cocoa. We're going to use this one today. Only thing I don't like about this foundation though is the pump. You guys can see it's really messy. It gets like that. I just can see it's not too red, it's not too golden, it's like perfect brown. It's like me in a foundation. So I'm just gonna use my fingers and just dot around my face. You guys can see how pretty it is. It's definitely naturally radiant. I feel like this is kind of, I wouldn't say it's a dupe, but it kind of, the finish reminds me of my NARS Radiant foundation. Not obviously, not exactly, but it reminds me of it. So look at that shade, it's so good. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to eyeshadow. I like to go for an all matte, simple, neutral eyeshadow look. My favorite drugstore eyeshadow palette for neutrals is my Morphe 3502. I feel like if you have never had this palette, I don't know where you've been, because this actually has every single neutral brown that you'd ever probably want. The reason why you guys don't see me use it as much is because it's so big. I wish they would come out of like a 3502 mini. That would be like perfect. So we're going to use this today. I'm literally just going to use like a chocolate brown in the crease and like a more like milk chocolate in the lid. Real simple. Kind of gonna mimic my regular routine but in more drugstore products. And of course I'm gonna use my Be Perfect cosmetics primer, and this is only I think £9.99, £10, but it's definitely worth it. This primer is like one of the best primers I've ever used. Go like that. When it comes to doing like using more neutral colors on your lid, you don't need a primer. I like to use one just because I feel like my eyeshadow just comes out more smoother. If you don't have a primer, you can actually just use concealer and it'll work just as good. I wish this palette had names because it's kind of hard to, you know, tell you guys what I'm doing. Look at that pigment, it's so pigmented. I don't know if it's after the panoramic, but everyone's been stuck in this like luxury phase when it comes to everything, makeup, beauty, fashion. Everything's just meant to be luxury. Please don't think you have to run to like Charlotte Tilbury or NARS to get like a really nice flawless face. Like there's some good gems in the drugstore, or just good affordable gems that can do you just as well, okay? So these are the eyes. I'm absolutely loving them. I added some mascara. For mascara, I used this MUA Makeup Academy Volume Mascara. I don't spend a lot on mascara because I wear lashes, so it really just doesn't matter. For lashes, I'm actually going to use these red cherry lashes in the style Blair. I've had these for a while and I've used them once and they were super pretty and flirty, so I'm going to pop these on and then we'll be back to finish the complexion. Lashes are on. I actually like how these look. They're pretty cute. So concealers, I have so many drugstore concealers to show you guys. Like I have so many. So let's just start with a 16-hour concealer. It's a must-have. If you don't have it, definitely pick it up and try it. The coverage, the flawlessness of it all, amazing. So I have the original camo concealer formula. This one I have to say is my favorite. It is more of a matte finish, but I feel like, I don't know, the coverage and the finish of this one is just my fave. I have the deep cinnamon shade, which is like a regular highlight shade. I also have it in tan neutral just as an extra brightening concealer when I want a more glam look. The next one I have is this L'Oreal Infallible concealer. This is really good. I love the coverage. I haven't used it in a while, but when I used to use it, loved it. I currently now just use this under my brows, but I could also use this under my eyes too. I have the shade 340 Chestnut, and I really like this because it's more of a neutral undertone rather than being too orange or red. So yeah. And then my last concealers I have to show you guys are from Revolution. Do not sleep on Revolution. They have some really good products. So one of my favorite ones is the Makeup Revolution Infinite Concealer. I have this in C13.5. This is my absolute favorite concealer shade. I always, when I buy new concealers, try to match it to this. I also have the regular Conceal and Define concealer. I like to use this to contour. This is in the shade C18. Then one of my favorite concealers right now, my XX Revolution concealer in CX13. When I first got this, I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite. But this one has actually grown on me. You guys probably see me use this a lot, and this is in the shade CX13. Love it. It's so hydrating because the XX Revolution line is like skincare mixed with makeup. Makes your under eyes look nice and healthy. So today I think I'm gonna give my Infinite a go because I haven't used her in a while. This shade is like my favorite shade ever. I'm just gonna apply this. So I'm gonna leave that to sit for a second. I'm gonna blend it out with my Juno Co sponge. I need a new one. It is sold out. I have 3 of them and they're all raggedy. Like, this is bad. This is kind of drying out a bit. I'm just gonna use my L'Oreal. And my L'Oreal is basically the same shade. And I do have a concealer collection video. I will link it so you guys can see swatches of all the concealers in my collection and see how they look. I'm gonna go in with this C18 conceal and define shade. Just go down the sides of my nose. Oh, it's drying out. Literally, I basically finished most of my makeup products. I need to do a freaking re-up. But yeah, I'm just gonna go around the sides. This undertone of concealer is like perfect. Every single like cream bronzer I've tried to find, I try to mimic this undertone. So if you guys know any cream bronzer with this undertone, let me know. I want to buy it. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use a little bit more concealer. This is literally not necessary. I'm gonna use my tan neutral just to brighten, just a tiny bit. We're going to set our under eyes. I know it's the drugstore makeup tutorial, but if I'm gonna be 100%, I cannot fully recommend any drugstore powder. I don't think you should skip or try to skim or be cheap when it comes to powder, because it's just, it makes and breaks your routine. I have these two powders that I've had for a while, and I don't think I'll repurchase any more drugstore powders because they cannot compare to the more expensive powders. I have this Revolution powder in banana. I have my Sasha powder. This is an OG. I feel like everyone used this at some point. This is good. This is okay. I wouldn't recommend, but you can make it work if you use the right skills and techniques. This can work and look amazing. Both of these can, but I just, if I'm going to keep it 100 and it's going to come from me and my recommendations, I would just say spend the extra 10-15 pounds and just get a good powder that you know is just never going to fail you, hold you down. So I'm gonna recommend Huda Beauty because Huda's powder, one thing about Huda, she does complexion so well, but that powder, I don't like, I just want her to know that powder is one of the best powders on the market, period. So I have the Huda powder in Kunafa. She has a plethora of shades. When I use this powder, I see my makeup change. Like, I thought my makeup was sick before, but when I used this, I was like, wow. And you get so much product in here, like so much. So I'm just gonna use this e.l.f. powder brush and I'm just going to press it in. We're not gonna do any baking today. We're gonna do like my OG routine and just press it in. The only time I bake is if I want like a super glam, bright under eye look, if I'm feeling that way. But yeah, especially if you know you're gonna take pictures like an event, I would say definitely press in your powder versus doing a baking method, because the baking can give you a slight hue. Okay, so let's get into a bronzer and get this face warmed up because I am looking a little, we need the warmth to come back. So I have two drugstore bronzers, two only. I have this Morphe Gamma bronzer, but you know what guys, I'm not really gonna say this is drugstore because it is kind of pricey. I got it on sale for like £10, but I believe this is like £20. But it is really big. You get a lot of products in here. I have the shade Supreme. I feel like I got the wrong shade. This gives Mocha Mami by Fenty, and if you know that shade, it's very red. You guys can see this is super red. It kind of gives blush. It kind of gives blush. I'm not gonna lie. I can get away with it as a bronzer, but it kind of gives blush, which is why I don't use it as much. I also have this Revolution bronzer in Robe. I used this a lot when I first started bronzing. When I first started buying bronzers, I didn't really know, like, it was my first bronzers as a black girl. Like, I don't really know what it's meant to look like. But as I've grown and more bronzers have come out, I do prefer more neutral warm bronzer than something like straight red. So that's why you guys don't see me pull for this as much, because it kind of gives me blush vibes, you know? But the one that I love and I always recommend you guys get is the Makeup Revolution Glow Bronzers. I have the shade Dark and it's pigmented. You get a whole bunch and it's literally only like £10. It's somewhere in that range, but it's worth it. It's a little bit more up there, I'd say, than like a Makeup Revolution bronzer I just showed you. That's like maybe £6 or £8, but I believe it's around 10, which I think is worth it. So I'm just gonna bronze with this. Just sets the makeup off to me. I feel like without bronzer, what was I doing? Do you know what? now that I think back, before I was buying bronzers, I was making my own bronzers. Of the Morphe palette I just showed you guys, I used eyeshadow to bronze. I didn't even really know what a bronzer was. I just wanted like a warm contour. Like, it's crazy. Now onto blush, which is actually my favorite part of makeup. Like, I love it, especially in the summer. I'm gonna start with the cream blushes. So these two cream blushes are from e.l.f. Cosmetics. I feel like, you know what, I have mentioned e.l.f. quite a lot on this video, and I have to say they have some really good products. So these are their putty blushes in the shade Fiji, and I believe this one is called, it's called Maldives. These two are amazing. This is like a more deeper, this blush is like a romantic type shade. It's like a deep warm red. It's very pretty. I like this for the fall. And this one's much more of a like bright pinky, kind of reminds me of like a punch color, like a rum punch color. You can build them up, but it's better to get, with these, it's better to get a shade that you know will show up on your skin tone. They do have lighter shades like a lighter pink, a lighter orange, but I feel like even though I could probably make them work on my skin tone, I would never build them up too much, because they are like a putty cream formula. They can make your cheeks look a little bit too oily or greasy if you put too much on. So as much as you can build them up, I would say be careful. But yeah, really like these. I also have these two blushes. These are the NYX Sweet Cheeks soft cheek tints. This one isn't my fave. It's a very like fiery orange blush, and this one's more of like a neutral mauvey rose tone. For powder blushes, I have this one from XX Revolution. This is in the style Jaded. XX Revolution have a really amazing blush range. It's a very fiery orangey red, which I love. If you guys haven't noticed, I love a more like orange fiery red shade. And then I also have this Juvia's Place Saharan blush palette. It did come with 2 highlight shades, 4 blush shades. That orange is just so beautiful. That pink is gorgeous. So I have been loving like mixing these two together, or even these two together. I feel like I use the NYX a lot. I've used the e.l.f. and I've used the Jaded. So I'm going to use these two today. So we're definitely going in with the blush, which is cool because we have a more neutral look today. So we can go in with the blush. You see how pigmented that is? You got to be careful. Now I'm going to go in with my mascara for my bottom lash line, just to get these eyes more popping. To set my face, I've actually been liking to use this vitamin E mist from Superdrug. It's not a fix and spray, and it's not going to keep your skin in place, but I've been loving to use it just to kind of get my powders to kind of settle down. So I'm going to use that now and just refresh the skin. So while that dries, we're going to go ahead and figure out our lip choices. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of NYX butter glosses. I have these NYX milky glosses. These I feel like people sleep on. I actually prefer this formula to the butter gloss formula. If they had this formula in these shades, I'll be set. This is still nice, but I just feel like after I apply this, I feel like I need a more glossier gloss on top just to make it pop and shine and be popping. I'm going to use Madeline, and I might top that off with Milk and Honey by NYX. And then for lip liner, I'm going to use my Morphe Trendsetter. Oh, what's going on my throat? And I'm going to go in with Madeline. You guys are going to see what I mean when I say like, I always feel like I need more. So that is a butter gloss by itself. So do you guys see, it's nice and glossy, but it needs that extra oomph. It needs that. So to set my face completely, to like keep my makeup in place, this Revolution Supreme Hold Finishing Spray is really good. It is really strong, but it holds my makeup in place. I also love my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I'm going to use this one today. So yeah, this is the finished look. This is my completely drugstore makeup look. I think it looks really good. I don't know, I actually like these lashes on me. I feel like they're a little bit more natural looking, but they're kind of cute. I like them. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's makeup tutorial. Give me a nice thumbs up if you found it helpful, and if you like the product recommendations. I will try to link everything in the description box. If you guys have any questions or anything, be sure to comment down below. I will get back to you. And yeah, I guess that's all in today's video. And if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you tap the subscribe button and also put notifications on so you know when I upload. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next one.